It is overtime here again at Old Favorite Friday discussing incredible classic beers. And I love when I get recommendations for Old Favorite Friday because sometimes it leads to me discovering something really brilliant, really amazing. And while I know Half Acre, I've talked about some Half Acre beers on Old Favorite Friday before, I had never had the Pony Pils. I was told I have to pick this beer up. I did a little research, make sure that it qualified for the Old Favorite Friday rules that I like to have, which is a beer at least 10 years old. I had some conflicting reports when I looked it up. Maybe it was 2013 or 2014 when this beer was introduced, but definitely works for the sake of Old Favorite Friday. And it's talking about an incredible beer style in a Pilsner, a really dry, drinkable Pilsner with some somewhat aggressive bitterness is what I was looking for, almost an acidity, but bitterness on this beer that I can see is off-putting to some people. You know, we've kind of trained the casual beer drinker to hear Pilsner and think of like, you know, a macro lager. And this is nothing like that. This is more of a traditional Pilsner in the fact that it has these nice like crackery malts, a little bit of like floral hop flavor, maybe a smidge of citrus, but it's really the hop profile that really drives this beer with that crackery malt and the fact that it has some assertive bitterness without being over the top, but all the flavor that comes in there with those floral and herbaceous hops is just really brilliant. It's also really clean, really dry, and really bright is the best way I can describe this beer. It's kind of hard to like flavor profiles can be bright, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but trust me, when you drink this beer, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Half Acre is a fantastic brewery that I believe they were founded around 2006, so they've been around the block for a while, celebrating their 20th anniversary this year. And they are a brewery that, you know, they kind of don't miss. They make really, really good beers pretty much across all different styles. I think we talked about Daisy Cutter here in the past on Old Favorite Friday. But they're really fantastic, and the Pilsner style is something that's getting more and more love these days, while people kind of figure out that these classic Pilsners, these German-style Pilsners, Czech-style Pilsners, are really, really delicious and really complex for being 5.5% alcohol, for being light and drinkable. They still pack a big punch, so I highly recommend it. I've been converted. This is a beer that I'm definitely going to go back to again, so I highly recommend if you have accessibility to it, pick it up. Talking about food pairings for this one, you know, the first thing I thought was like a Chick-fil-A sandwich, quite frankly. You know, the brininess of the pickle, just a very simple sandwich, a fried chicken sandwich would go really, really well with this. But to get a little more complex, I was thinking chicken piccata. You got butter, you have capers, you have white wine, you have some richness there, and you need something to cut through that. The bitterness of this beer will absolutely do that. And then you have the herbaceousness of the hops playing with the brininess of the capers. That works really, really well together. You have some citrus flavor from the lemon. That goes well with the Pilsner. These are all flavors that are kind of together in a lot of different Pilsners in this style of beer, but aren't all in this same glass. This is driven a little more, in my opinion, by like herbaceousness and floralness than it is citrus, but the citrus would be very welcome. So chicken piccata would go really, really well with this. And if you have any other suggestions for a beer or a food that you'd like to pair with this, we'd love to hear them. But thank you guys very much, as always, for watching. Please poke around the YouTube channel, see other videos just like this, talking about incredible classic beers. Maybe you'll get introduced to a beer, your new favorite beer, on this very episode or a show just like it. We'll see you guys next time. Cheers.